What is this thing I found in an antique store? Labeled as electronic test device unknown as to use. The three knobs turn and the switch moves side to side. It's about 8 by 4 by 4 inches. Not sure if it's actually an electronic testing device or not. I tried to figure out what the numbers were on the metal band, but no luck. Any idea what is this thing? It's a Victorian electrotherapy machine, circa 1890. A device for giving people electric shocks, which was thought at the time to be beneficial to health. The 0 to 100 scale controls the amount of shock given. The weighted springy bit to the left of the cylinder is pulled by the coil in the cylinder, which acts like an electromagnet. When this happens, it disconnects the current from the supply. This causes a voltage spike in the coil, producing a high voltage. The three knobs at the front are actually screw terminals. If you look closely, the posts have a hole through to accept a wire. This is where you connect the hand terminals, which are hollow metal cylinders about the size of a roll of pennies connected by wires. They seem to be missing on your find. What is this horn-like thing my grandfather dug up in his garden in the 50s or 60s? He thought it was a drinking horn of some sort. It reminds me of those collectible bottles Avon made for perfumes. What exactly is it for? It's a cornucopia or horn-shaped car flower vase from the early 1900s. It was made for cars and especially hearses to hold flowers to act as an air freshener. It had a loop for hanging on a hook or dashboard bracket, which was provided on automobiles of that era. Indeed, early motorized vehicles such as the Ford Model T included the vases in some models. This beautiful vase has turned a medium to deep purple color, which indicates that it hails from before 1915. When most glass companies discontinued the use of manganese in their formulas. What is this thing I found in Grandma's drawers? The top part slides down to show something similar to a head massager, but really small. Any ideas? It's a reusable golf-themed swizzle stick from the 1920s. It was originally used to remove the bubbles from your glass of champagne, and is now also used as a cocktail stirrer. We found this strange object in our house many years ago, and we never found out what it was. I guess it's an old carpenter's pencil tool, but I'm not sure. What is this thing? It's a pencil cap ball dialing tool for use on rotary dial telephones. It was made in Melrose Park, Illinois by Bell Systems in the 1940s. It slips over the end of a pencil or pen for easy use. It saved many a fingernail from breaking and eliminated sore fingers after a day at work. What is this thing I found in my late grandmother's house? We were cleaning her house and found this in one of her things. No one in the family can identify it. Not even my mom. My grandmother would have been 102 this year. Any ideas? It's a button mold from the mid-18th century. It's missing a second handle, and it opens and folds shut like a butterfly knife would. It produces 4 buttons ranging in size from a large coat to cuff-sized. The faces of the buttons are smooth plain circles that are slightly domed. It was made by Josiah Miller, a mold maker in Connecticut circa 1750. What is this crank thing on the wall of an old house? It's on the kitchen wall of my friend's house built in the 1920s. There's a faded logo on top I cannot read. Could it be an old coffee or meat grinder? Any ideas? It's an ice-o-mat hand crank ice crusher from the 1950s. If you look inside the top, you will see several metal wheels that spin when you turn the handle. We had one almost exactly like this as I was growing up. What is this thing I found at a thrift store? When you pull the handle, something winds up inside. On the back it says Conair Japan. I could not find anything on Google on this, since the staff didn't really know what it was either. They didn't seem to attach too much value to it, so they sold it for basically nothing. What is it? It's a camera shutter timer from the early 1950s. On top of the film camera shutter button, there is a small threaded insert slot, originally made for attaching a shutter cable release. But these types of camera timers utilize the same threaded insert on the camera. What is this magnetic pill-like thing I found at the bottom of a box lot I bought at an auction? It was inside the plastic capsule, and no identification marks that I could see. It doesn't smell, And it's super light, like maybe it's hollow. But it's so small that it probably wouldn't weigh much even if it was filled. It doesn't shave off at all with my fingernail scratching on it. What is this thing? It's an antimony pill. It's a pill made from metallic antimony. It was a popular remedy in the 19th century. And it was used to purge and revitalize the bowels. In use, it is swallowed and allowed to pass through the body, after which it is customarily recovered for reuse, giving rise to the name everlasting pill. Many antimony pills stayed in families for generations, being used over and over again. If you don't want this, I would love to own one as an item of weird medical history. What is this thing I found in an old phone booth at a Marriott in Kansas City? It has an on-off switch, and I thought it was an odd heater, but it says Bell on it. Any ideas? It's part of an old Emerson Bell system fan with rubber blades, specifically for phone booths. Patented October 18, 1938 by Emerson Electric Manufacturing Company of St. Louis, Missouri. It's a corner mount base with 4 overlapping rubber blades and no guard. What is this weird box with a moving pointy part that has been in my grandfather's house for 80 years? It could be a toy coin bank, but the opening is too big for that purpose. Any ideas? It's a cast iron match holder and striker. The matches are held in the square base. The flat portion on the figure's lap appears to be the striker. The figure tilts on a pin and reaches into the opening to bring out a match. This piece is from the late 19th century, and it has a great folk art look. What is this thing I found in an inherited estate in Australia? The original owners moved here in the 30s. The handle has 2 love hearts in it, and it looks like it's designed to press something. Inside the square part, the number 67 is engraved. Any ideas? It's a candle wick trimmer with a waste chamber, dating from the last half of the 19th century. Candles were the main source for illumination before electricity became common, and it was soon found that the ideal length of the wick should be 1/4 of an inch. To maintain this length, scissor-like implements were used. Trimmers were used to promote slower, steady burning, and also to prevent smoking. I found this at an estate sale. The gear counts from 1 to 31 and spins if the pointed bolt rotates. The guy that I bought it from had no idea what it was either. It was dirty and old, but I polished it. I keep it on my desk and use it as a fidget toy. The numbering from 1 to 31 suggests it has a calendar function. What is this thing? Please help us identify in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.